Hello everyone. Before we start the video, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for the support on the last 3 videos and 800 subscribers. I understand that's not that big of a number, but I remember getting excited hitting 15 subscribers when I was younger, so seeing this amount of support is absolutely amazing. Now we're only 200 subscribers off of 1,000. That sentence still sounds a little unreal, but with y'all's support, I definitely feel like we can hit it. If you like these style of chapter speculation videos, let me know which ones you'd like to be done in the future. And before I continue on the video, one last thing. Soon I will be starting a chapter retrospective series on the channel where I will go over every single chapter released in Dead by Daylight's history and review it from how it was released to how it is now and just all the content within it. You know, a huge retrospective. I'm going to be starting off with Tools of Torment, and I already have started progress on that video. Also, spoiler alert for Outlast 1, Outlast Whistleblower, Outlast 2, and the Outlast Trials. With that being said, let's start the video. For those of you unaware on what Outlast is a first-person psychological survival horror game released in 2013, developed and published by Canada's very own Red Barrels. Located in Montreal, Red Barrels is an independent team made up of only about 40 people, but as of recently expanded to about 70 as the Outlast franchise continues to grow. Outlast has shown to be a beloved horror gaming franchise and personally one of my favorites. It has also been expanding its reach by getting its own film that's being produced by the same film studio that has put out the Saw films, along with many other decent horror movies, that being Lionsgate. And with the continuous live service approach done by the Outlast trials, and just how big Outlast is in the horror genre, I'm surprised that it hasn't joined the fog yet. But with 3 mainline titles with such iconic and rememberable characters and killers, which ones will be chosen to join the fog? But before we talk about that, let's talk about the probability of Outlast even ever becoming a chapter in Dead by Daylight. As I mentioned before, Red Barrels' head office is located in Montreal, Quebec. And if that sounds familiar, that's because Behavior's head office is also located in Montreal, Quebec. Huh, I'm curious, how close are they together? Oh damn, only a 20-minute drive away. They could definitely get lunch together one day and just discuss what a chapter could be and work out the logistics. Considering last time Behavior worked with another company located in Montreal, Quebec, that being Ubisoft Montreal for their For Honor Halloween event that added the Trapper into For Honor and a Charm into Dead by Daylight. If I remember correctly, Behavior stated that they enjoyed working with another company nearby. It made things a lot smoother, and the fact that both development studios for Outlast and Dead by Daylight are in the same city, I don't doubt that this collaboration hasn't at least been spoken about, or at least one day is on the horizon. But until the day we receive official confirmation, I think it would be fun to speculate and see what we could receive inside of Dead by Daylight in the form of a chapter for the Outlast series. So for the killer of this chapter, it was very hard to come up with one considering how many great sociopathic murderers Red Barrels has created. But after thinking, it seems that there's one main character that makes the most amount of sense, as a lot of other characters can just be chalked up to legendary skins for pre-existing killers in the form of a cosmetic collaboration. And we'll get into that later. I think the best suited character for the killer is going to be the Walrider. For me, it just makes sense for the Walrider to be the killer, considering he is the main antagonist in Outlast 1 and seems to be Murkoff's magnum opus. Now, you could debate that it should be Chris Walker, but this doesn't happen to the Walrider in the first Outlast game. Now, I definitely won't lie, Chris Walker is definitely more iconic than the Walrider, but because Outlast is all about psychological horror, I thought it would make sense to have a killer that could also psychologically torture the survivors and really get into their heads, other than just having another giant brute killer. With that being said, let's get into his power. Again, this is just for speculation, and it's a little fun power I came up with on the spot that makes sense to happen inside of Dead by Daylight and respectively makes sense to the Outlast lore. The first part of the Walrider's power is witness level. When a survivor's camera makes direct contact with a Walrider, a circle around your survivor's HUD will start to go up. When it reaches 50%, survivors will start to see hallucinogenic flashes on their screen. When it reaches max, survivors will see consistent flashes of the Walrider on their screen, and the survivor will constantly hear layer 2 of the tear radius. Survivors who are hooked will have their witness level set to 25%. Murkoff-branded antidote stations can also be found around the map. After a small interaction, an antidote will be created, and after a survivor consumes an antidote, their witness level will reset back to 0. For the main part of the Walrider's power, we have Projection. Charge the active ability button to charge Projection. Once Projection is fully charged, you will start to glide across the entire map, going through walls very fast, with not much mobility to go left or right, so practically a straight shot. But you can stop yourself anywhere while projecting. If you fly through a survivor, they will gain 50% witness level and scream. If the survivor already has above 50% witness level, the survivor will take damage. If a survivor also has max witness level, the Walrider will get a prompt to teleport to any survivor with max witness level. Once you start charging the teleport, the survivor will get an indication in the form of a certain hallucinogenic projection of the Walrider showing up on their screen. It takes about the same amount of time for the Walrider to teleport to a survivor as it does for Freddy to teleport to a generator. After the Walrider teleports, he will be teleported extremely close to the survivor. When the Walrider teleports to a survivor, their witness level will reset back to 0. Now, for the last part of the Walrider's power, this wouldn't be an Outlast chapter without that iconic green night vision effect. The higher survivors' witness meters will start to build up Outlast. When Outlast activates, for the next minute, the entire map will be shrouded in complete darkness, and everybody, including the Walriders, visibility will be completely just like using the night vision in Outlast. The Walrider also gains undetectable during Outlast, and also is more visible to survivors. Well, that's the power I came up with. If you guys have any spins on my idea, or any original ideas of your own, please leave them down in the comments. I would love to read them. Now, with that being said, like every other killer, the Walrider has 3 unique teachable perks. Encapsulated Fear. When a generator is completed, all survivors within your terror radius gain the hindered status effect for 10 seconds. Undetected Pursuit. When a survivor breaks from your grasp, gain the undetectable status effect for 60 seconds. No Safety. When a survivor exits a locker, they will be oblivious for 35 seconds. Well, with the perks out of the way, will the Walrider even have any cosmetics for him? We don't necessarily see any different versions of the Walrider throughout Outlast. We can probably expect the typical prestige bloody version, and maybe some original Dead by Daylight outfits like a blighted skin for the Walrider, but I doubt it. It's important to mention that the version of the Walrider I think they would go with is Billy Hope's Walrider and not Miles Upshur's Walrider. And we don't even see that much of Miles as Walrider other than at the end of Whistleblower. So I can potentially see giving the Walrider a cosmetic where he turns into Miles, or maybe even one where he turns into the Skinner Man from Outlast Trials. But I think they're going to save Miles for a different situation. Speaking of which, let's move on to the survivor for the Outlast chapter. The obvious choice would obviously be Miles Upshur. Lore-wise, he would probably be taken right before he gets possessed by the Walrider at the end of the game. Despite Miles not actually having an official face in the Outlast series, I don't doubt he will eventually get one, and if they want to show it off in Dead by Daylight, I can totally see that happening. But, like with everyone else, Miles comes with 3 unique teachable perks. Quiet in Darkness. While crouching, you make 100% less noise while moving or performing actions such as healing or sabotaging. Boon, Stay Down. When survivors are in the boon's radius, all survivors will have their crouch movement speed increased by 100%. Hidden and Prepared. When a killer pulls you out of a locker, instantly gain 25% of your wiggle bar immediately. What about cosmetics for Miles? Other than the typical bloody prestige cosmetics, there's actually quite a few. We could probably see them being legendaries to turn him into Blake and Lynn Langerman from Outlast 2, Waylon Park from Outlast Whistleblower, and potentially even the future protagonist of Outlast 3, even though that game won't come out for another 2 to 3 years. I know nowadays in Dead by Daylight, it's not a guaranteed thing that we're going to receive maps for chapters, and sometimes we have situations where really iconic locations don't get into the chapter, like not having the family house from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or the Good Guy Doll Factory from Child's Play 2. but I think it would be a good call to include the most iconic asylum in horror game history, obviously that being Mount Massive Asylum, the main location of the first game and the DLC Whistleblower. Despite already having 2 asylum maps in Dead by Daylight, I think most people would be okay with this inclusion. But what part of the asylum? Keep in mind that Mount Massive, like its name states, is massive. Also, as massive as the
no taper fade.
Anyways, Mount Massive is a huge location, and if we were just to get a chunk of it for a Dead by Daylight map, I think they would focus on the administration block along with the courtyard, but they could do any section of the asylum if they wanted. They could also totally do Temple Gate from Outlast 2, but I see that as more unlikely. Well, that wraps up the full chapter in Dead by Daylight, but what about a cosmetic collaboration to go along with the chapter? It's not out of the ordinaries to see it nowadays. It's a little rare, but considering if they were gonna do it, let's see what they would do, considering how many cool antagonists are in the Outlast franchise. But starting off with the survivors, I think it would be cool if every original survivor got a reagent skin. It wouldn't change them much, just put on some more dirty clothes, put on the night vision goggles, and the Murkoff branded battery pack from the Outlast trials. This outfit would probably just be a green, but I think it would be really cool. Moving on to the killers, I believe all of these cosmetics would be legendary, adding voice lines and potentially different Moris. For the Doctor, we could see a Leland Coyle legendary skin from the Outlast trials. For the Huntress, we could see a Martha legendary skin from Outlast 2. For the Clown, we could see a Chris Walker legendary skin from Outlast 1, but you can also say the Clown could be Sullivan Noth from Outlast 2. For the Legion, I think we could see a variant legendary skin from Outlast 1. For the Twins, I think we could see a Nick Tremblay legendary skin from Outlast 2. Those are all the main survivor and killer outfits I could think about. If you have any other ideas, please let me know down in the comments. Red Barrels has created some really beautiful sociopaths that I believe totally have a place in the fog. And one last thing, I could even potentially see a limited time event with the Outlast trials that's completely centered around Dead by Daylight, offering Dead by Daylight room customization, potential killer outfits for your reagent, similar to the PUBG collaboration. Anyways, I just wanted to thank you all for watching the video. If you're also big fans of Outlast and Dead by Daylight, I bet you want this collaboration as much as I do. And it's fun to speculate and theorize about what might happen if we ever do receive this collaboration. If you have any other horror franchises that you would like to hear me talk about, leave those down in the comments below. Also, if it's your cup of tea, I have a Twitter and here you go. I would also like to remind Behavior, please Behavior, give us a Phantom of the Opera Chucky skin. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'm looking forward to making my future chapter retrospectives. I hope you're all having a great day, and goodbye.